Well, good morning. It is Sunday, February 15th, 2026. It is 9:21 a.m. in the morning. What are we doing today? Well, we're having a real simple breakfast. I'm just going to make some of this. This is raisin date and walnut oatmeal. I bought this from Giant. They had a sale, one box. You buy one box, get one box free. That's the only way I'll buy this. I usually buy the Walmart big box of 20 for I think like $4.50 or something like that. I just want to show you how I make it. We're just going slow today. But this right here, oatmeal, the instant oatmeal, how many I got here? You know what? I will make 4. How would it? So there's 4. I think my settings on this is 6, 8, and 10 ounces of water on my Keurig coffee maker. So what I do is go like this. So for 4, I'm going to use 10. We put 10 ounces of water in there. I like my little long spoons. These are real handy, especially if you're getting jelly out of a jar. You can scoop it out. I would go get more of these, but I don't think I got like 6 of them. I'm one person, and if I get more, it's just an excuse to get more dirty and not wash them, you know? So it's good to not have more than what you want on certain things, you know? Alright, so there's that. You can see what it looks like now. I just stirred this up. We're also going to have some 8 o'clock coffee, okay? I got Tim Horton over here too, but 8 o'clock's got a little bit of a bite. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to use let me use the glass one. Duh. There we go. Alright, so we're going to stir this up. Just stir it up like this. But you don't leave it like this, okay? Very important, this next step's really, really important. You put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Now normally with that, I'll eat 3. But this, as I said before, this is probably, as far as I'm concerned, without adding stuff to it. Now you can add your own nuts to it. You can add your own raisins. You can add your own, if you got dates, you can add your own dates to it. But as a just plain oatmeal, I like this a lot. We're also going to be adding some raw unfiltered honey to it. Going to be adding a little bit of this is ground cinnamon. This ground cinnamon is actually probably about 20 years old, so this is aged ground cinnamon. And I also got, where the hell is it? Here it is. A newer ground cinnamon. Yeah, I might just let me use the newer ground cinnamon. This shit is ancient. I'm gonna toss that. You know, there's such a thing as, there is a limit, you know? So, after the 30 seconds, this is what you get. It looks a little bit more amenable, you know. It looks a little bit more. See, it's more like oatmeal. It has a nice texture to it. See the texture? Nice texture to it. I know some of you are going, "Oh God, stop showing me that." Throw some honey in this bad one. It's already got sugar in it. But I like honey. And I like this raw, unfiltered honey. This has seen better days, though. There's that. Here's a coffee. This is some giant half and half right here. Excuse me. Giant half and half. I just gave up measuring it because I just did. I'm going to throw a little bit of cinnamon in this bad boy. There you go. A little bit of cinnamon. Stir that bad boy up. And for me, there's always butter. Always butter. Always. That's a little bit much. Just stir it around until it melts in there. And you got a gooey, nasty mess. It actually tastes really good. Alright, and that is the finished product. Right there. That is the finished product. Now, the benefits for me of oatmeal or my insides are always in a mess. I don't know why. This kind of came on me a lot more severe after my appendix blew up inside me, and I had to have it cut out in emergency surgery about, God, I guess 35 years ago. But since then, my inside have been an extra mess. But I didn't help it. I wasn't nobody who appreciated their insides. And here's Knucklehead. What are you doing, boo-boo? And she, oh, by the way, I got up this morning, walked out the bedroom, stepped right in her puke. Hey, how's that? Good morning. Thankfully, I had fed her some chicken food, just plain chicken food. I've got this Applause food that is very dry, and it's just chicken chopped up, and that's what I fed her. But the thing is with cats is you got to understand is they lick because it's their genetics that they have to clean themselves. It's because they're killers. They don't want their prey to smell them, so they lick and lick and lick so they get hairballs. The only place them hairballs got to go is out, and that's what happens. Yeah, boo boo. And I just fed her some turkey food. I wonder if I got another one of those here. I got one here too. Hey, boo boo. What you doing, boo boo? Aww. Feeding her these Sheba foods. She's having a good go with these. She likes these. She doesn't get the skin breakouts, and she doesn't expel that up much. The Applause is good for her skin, but it's very dense, so it tends to, if she's having a little bit upset stomach from her hair, she tends to, bring it up. Anyway, we're going to keep going. We can get off that subject. How about that? Let me see. Now, this is a coarse grain oatmeal. And this is normally what I buy right here. It's 20 pack, value pack from Walmart. This is under $5, I think. And it's really good. It's apples and cinnamon. That's really good. And I wanted to get, they had another one that's like maple and sugar, something like that. I wanted to get that, but they were out of the 20 pack. They were pretty much out of all of their stuff, but I got this right here. This is called Peaches and Cream. Got genuine dehydrated peach pieces in it. This is pretty good too. And it's a different grind of oatmeal. It's actually better for me because it's not dense. I have a thing inside my stomach, not my stomach, but inside my intestines. It's called diverticulitis. It's pockets in your intestines. And even though this says it has walnuts in them, the walnuts are ground into a powder almost. So they're not dense. And what that does for me is these pockets, they have a tendency to collect. If I eat nuts, if I eat nuts from a store, I got to be real careful the next couple of days that I eat oatmeal, that I eat stuff that has high grain in it to bring that out. And actually, the thing for me to eat would be grits or oatmeal because it helps. Last Thursday and last Friday were very challenging days at work. And I am very glad the good Lord helped me get through them. I want a little bit more butter. This is really good. And the thing about this is, when you're a person that's got gut issues, you can eat something and you can enjoy it. You can love it. And then you can pay for it for 2 days. I mean, the worst expression of what I went through because of this was, one of the worst expressions was, about 20 years ago, I bought, they had DiGiorno's pizzas, frozen pizzas on sale at Giant. So I bought a couple of them. And we cooked them up. And something in the frozen crust really did not agree to my insides. And people say, well, that's gluten. You've probably got a gluten allergy. And you're probably right. And they must have used a super gluten crust because, man, I paid for that. It took about 4 days for my insides to clear up. And I can remember on the 4th day when I did what I had to do in the bathroom, did a number 2 in the bathroom, and I could remember when it came out. So, this is serious things. I mean, if you've got an inside problem, you got to be careful what you're eating. And now, I've never seen the amount of food that's not food on the market now. I was surprised to see that. I watch this on YouTube, they've always got, if the algorithm picks up that you're concerned about your health, they'll start throwing you videos about healthier foods and exposing bad foods and stuff. I never realized that a place like Little Caesars and Papa John's and Pizza Hut could sell a pepperoni that's not a genuine pepperoni. That it's actually made out of seed oils. They do a congealed seed oil fat mix, and they color it and flavor it, and they call it pepperoni. Now, I don't know if Little Caesars does that. I don't know if Papa John's does it. But this video was describing that there was actually a way to make fake pepperoni out of seed oils. I was like going, God darn, man. So, I bought these buns right here, these Myers buns. And these are white bread. And they look pretty good. They look pretty soft and all of that. But it's a white bread bun, and I had an expectation of a certain taste to it. What I didn't expect was it to be completely tasteless. I made 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with 2 of these. And they were pretty much tasteless. I was very surprised at the poor quality of the flour used in these. So, later on, well, a day later, actually 2 days later, I made 3, this was actually yesterday, I made 3 cheese sandwiches with this bread, this green bread. And they were pretty good. And everything inside my insides, ooh, excuse me. Oh, man. Excuse me. Alright. Anyway, inside my insides, this right here, this kind of bread right here, this 15 grain bread, and this 12 grain bread, my insides likes that kind of bread, so I'm going to start. I've already been getting away from white bread. It was like I had a specific thing I wanted to make with these. I may still make it with these, I may not, I don't know. I might give those to the birds, because it ain't worth the price you pay. I was very disappointed that one of the few fast foods I've been able to get that was pretty basic and quick and pretty cheap, and it had an okay taste to it, was 7-Eleven sells these things called Spicy Bites, which is a big hot dog, and they had the buns. Now the buns are a cheap white bread, probably cheaper than this. For some reason they don't bother me that much, but boy oh boy, they got cheap. The last 2, I buy 2 at a time. I put them in their hot dog bun holder, one on one side, one on the other, and I don't put any mustard on it because I'm driving. I got my company uniform on. If I put mustard on it, invariably I'll take a bite and the mustard will run out on my uniform, on my pants, on the vehicle. So I just said, screw it. The Spicy Bite was made with enough spices in the meat that it actually has a pretty good flavor. It had a pretty good flavor. But about a month ago and about 2 weeks ago, a month ago I bought 2 and 2 weeks ago I bought 2, and they were awful. Just awful. And I go, okay, I get it. Some corporate CEOs making their quarterly bonus. Because that's how management does things. Upper management. And ain't the guy at the store, or the girl at the store, they only sell you what, management sends you in a truck. But what they will do is, they will buy a certain quality dog, which say costs them 5 cents a dog, because they buy 1 million or 2 or 10 or 20 million of them at a time, right? Say 5 cents, actually 6 cents a dog, say. And then they find another vendor that says, hey, I could sell you a dog for 5 cents a dog, saving a penny. And because the upper management person takes credit for that penny savings, they get a bonus every 4 months. Now, the difference of that 1 penny means that dog that was worth eating before, you don't want to eat it. And literally, it tasted like shoe leather. I was so disappointed. I said, man, come on, man. Y'all can't be doing this shit, man. I'm almost scared to try to. They used to have these little, 7-Eleven used to have these little cheeseburgers in a little full wrapper that the clerk would cook and put in the case. And if you got them right after they cooked them, they had a pretty damn good flavor. Now, I'm kind of terrified about what they make the beef out of. I never looked at the wrapper. But they had a pretty good taste on them. Used to be able to get 2 for $6 if you had it's not an app. If you give them a phone number, they will send your deals to that phone number. They will assign you to that phone number. As long as you put that phone number at the register, you get the deal. But I'm almost afraid to try them now if 7-Eleven's gone through and cheapened up all their stuff. Going to a lot of 7-Elevens, been real unhappy with how unclean the store was. But that's because the clerk, I noticed every 7-Eleven they have less employees. Used to be you walk in, you always see 2 employees. Now you only see 1 employee at the counter and also stocking the shelves. It breaks my heart. But that's saving money. So, I don't know what I'm going to do about this right here. I mean, they're nice and soft. And fucking tasteless. Soft and fucking tasteless. I was so disappointed in that. Hang on, really? Really? Because we got to the point with this bread, it's got ridiculous with bread. Because there used to be a time when you could eat bread and you could enjoy it, We're almost reaching a point where you gotta get your own 00 flour and make your own bread. And that's sad. And because, this was on sale was like $4, and this was on sale was like $4, and this was on sale was like, I want to say $3.50 or something like that. This might have been $4 also. But the difference for me between this, and this is that this right here I paid a little bit of a price for, and I knew I was going to, because as soon as I ate it and I could tell how tasteless it was, I went, uh-oh. Here we go. And that's when I bring in this, you know, the oatmeal, the grains, bread. As long as I eat this and this, I think I'll be okay. Wow. So I just want to shoot a little video of all this about oatmeal and bread and guts, and not a very appetizing bunch of subjects for a video. I didn't mean to go all in the wild places I went, but you know, life happens and you just got to be honest about it. So we're feeling pretty good today. I am really being a dumbass about this exercise because I'm feeling this weakness down here, and I've got to get the exercise done, and I've got to get out here and start walking. One of the things I have realized about this weakness in my lower, over my left leg is I got to start walking. I really believe that if we don't walk a half hour a day straight, now I'm talking about just get out there and walk for a half hour in motion a day straight for a half hour. If you don't do that, you're going to die. There's got to be some sort of equivalency of you walking for a half hour a day. Because what happens with your legs is it's such a brilliantly designed machine, this body. Your legs, the arteries in your legs, when you walk, they squeeze. The muscles squeeze those arteries. And that pumps the blood back up to your heart. Well, all that action, all that motion, all these muscles, they all do the same thing with your blood vessels. They squeeze, and every time you move, they squeeze. So when you're moving, that's why you see people who are 90 years old that ride, well, especially in Oriental countries, that ride bicycles. They ride bicycles all their lives, or in Indian cultures where they do a lot of walking, they ride buses, they don't drive cars. They live a long life, a long, healthy life, you know, as a general rule. We have those kind of people here in America too. But they usually are local people who have gardens, who have neighbors, who go to their stores, they buy what they need, they come home, and they might, you know, who knows, they might walk out in their neighborhood, they could work in their garden, but you got to stay moving. If you don't stay moving, you'll lose the ability to move, and there's no doctor can fix that. And nobody wants to be there. You know, I saw this saying, and I didn't make it up, but somebody else made it up. It said there, a rich man, no, what is it? A rich man has many, a poor man has many riches, has many wishes, but a sick person only has one. Something like a rich man has many wishes, and a sick person only has one. And you know what that is? It's to get better. We don't want to get there, you know. So I'm just very disappointed in our food industry because, you know, killing us is not a way to make a living, guys. You know, high fructose corn syrup should be outlawed. Really. It just should be. Same with aspartame, same with sucralose. They should not even be allowed to be sold to the public. High fructose corn syrup creates a syndrome in your liver, just like if you was drinking a fifth of whiskey, 3/5 of whiskey a day. I mean, when you got children that are 12 years old coming up with fatty liver disease because they've been drinking sodas, you know, since they were like 8. It's crazy. And the aspartame and sucralose are very bad for your insides. Sucralose especially is horrendous for your guts. And they hide it. You have to look in the ingredients list, and it's always in the very middle down near the bottom. with all kinds of things around it. They hide it. They don't want you to see it's in there because it's very addictive and it'll really tear your insides up. But the number one point is it's cheap. It makes things sweet, but it's very addictive. They love the addiction part. So, anyway. You do you, man. And woman. I see these bodybuilders, and they're pumping up their bodies, and they're jamming their bodies full of food to get protein and stuff, and I see them using protein powders, and the protein powders have sucralose in them to sweeten them. I'm going, daggone, guys, really? And what that does is that addicts them to that particular protein powder. But it also attacks their insides. It makes their insides harder to process the mass amount of foods that they're putting in their bodies. Makes me sad. So I don't know what I'm going to do today. One thing I am going to do today, I'm going to do it right now. Don't have much left. This was really good. But honestly, from a standpoint of keeping my insides healthy and clear, I actually prefer these. I actually prefer this one right here, the one with the apples and cinnamon. Why? Well, because I'm a cheap bastard, one. But two, it's soft ground with no particles of stuff in it. I might start putting raisins in it. And I don't know if I'll do, I would have to do ground walnuts. And I don't know if I want to do that. This is like a dessert to me. I consider this as the same thing as eating donuts. But this is so much better for you than donuts. Let me say what I was going to say first off. Lord in heaven. Lord in heaven. Thank you for being with us every day. Thank you for watching over us every day. Please soften the hearts of everybody in this world towards each other. Please let us realize that our neighbors are not our enemies, and that people that don't look like us are not our enemies, and that we're all in this world together to work together to a common good that benefits everyone, but that every person should be allowed to keep what they work for, and that every person who desires something should get their ass out there and work for it. Anyway, Lord, we appreciate you being in our life and watching over us. And we wish you a great day today. We hope you had a great day in heaven yesterday, and we hope you have a great day in heaven tomorrow. And we thank you, God, for this for every day. And to our departed loved ones, please watch over them. Hug them, hold them, let them know you love them every day. Thank you, God, for this for every day. Please always be with us and watch over us. Thank you, God. And for me, I want to say thank you for Thursday and Friday. Woo! Wow, man. I got to tell you, Thursday and Friday at work, the good Lord came through in gangbusters. And I can't really explain everything that happened in a way that makes sense, but just to say I faced a lot of challenges. And at the end of both days, those challenges were met. And a lot of that was because I just kept going. I didn't get upset. I had faith in God. And God and I worked together and got those challenges done. It seems like a cop-out. You know, people say, oh, God, this, God. You always say God. Yeah. When you're in the dark, man, you reach your hand at me and you go, and you hold on tight. And God says, I got you. We're going to get through this. We're going to make it through this. I didn't put you down here to fail. I put you down here to make it through. And you got to be appreciative that that's enough, you know? This damn social media thing we got going on, where everyone's supposed to be filthy rich and have, you know, every man's supposed to have 20 girlfriends and every girl's supposed to have 20 boyfriends, and on top of that, they're supposed to have marriages and children and all this other stuff. You know, you have to choose your battles, you know? You have to choose your battles. If you're going to have a loved one, if you're a man, you're going to have a wife, you choose one that is going to be loyal to you and to your babies, you know. And if you're going to be a woman and have a husband, same way. Careful who you choose. You know, got to have a husband that's not a whore hopper, you know. And here's the thing about that too. The way that you met them is the way they will behave during your marriage. So if you went and broke up someone else's marriage and that person came to you and now you're married, you can expect them to go somewhere else later. It's just the way of the world, man. You know, if you got very blessed and you met someone who had come out of a bad marriage and you were blessed to find them, and you two got together, and you were so loyal to each other and so loving to each other, man, you just won the life lottery. You just won the life lottery. And you got to realize that. And you got to realize that about that, too, is this is one thing I say about life all the time. I say this about life all the time. Every fucking day I say this shit. Sorry about that. Let me take a bite. Or two, or three. That was pretty good. Now, let me put some water in this. Back to the subject of what I was talking about. I say this every day. Every day. Sometimes I say this phrase about 200 times a day. Because I do believe in this life there are unseen forces that will work against you as soon as you try to better your life. Now you can sit on your ass and fall apart. Your house can become a dump hole. Your marriage can fall apart. And life will not touch you one bit because life just wants to watch you fall apart. Now, why do I say life? Why do I not say devils and this and that and the other? Well, in a way I'm saying the devils, in a way I'm saying gremlins, in a way, but I just call it life because life is always going to be challenging. But the moment you step up to the plate and you say, you know what? I'm sick of that looking messy like that. I'm sick of this being disorganized. I'm sick of being sick. I'm going to change what I'm eating. As soon as you do that, I'm sick of being addicted to drugs, or I'm sick of drinking every day. As soon as you say, I'm going to change it, life will throw roadblocks in your way all day long. You can fall apart and life won't touch you. But as soon as you decide to change your life, life will get in your way. I really found this out a long time ago when I was smoking pot as a teenager. And I was broke. I didn't have a job, and it was hard to get the pot to smoke. And I enjoyed smoking it, but I had an accident that burnt my lungs. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to stop. I went through about a year of not being able to go to sleep because my lungs were so burnt up. It was a stupid thing I don't really want to talk about, but it almost killed me. But anyway, during that time I said, fuck it, I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm not going to smoke pot anymore, right? The day I decided to not smoke pot anymore, the day that happened, I had 3 weeks of pot offered to me every day. Every day! Every day! I was in shock. I was like, where were all you people when I wanted to smoke some pot? You know? But 3 weeks, every day, for 3 weeks. I said, whoa, man, this is some Bible level satanic influence here, you know? So, well, what I say every day is that everything has to fight. It's kind of my call sign to my soul when I'm, well, like when I walked in to the living room today and I stepped right in. I said, oh man, I know what that is. I said, yep. Good morning. My bare heel stepped in. I went, glick. I went, Everything has to fight, man. You have to fight. You have to fight it. You have to decide on a course of action. You have to follow through on that course of action. Now, you may not get it done the first, the fifth, or the 100th time you got it, but you got to keep fighting. And you got to realize that no matter what happens, very often it's never going to be smooth sailing. And I love seeing these people. My boss is like this, and I've seen other older people like this, and it doesn't bother them. They expect it. They go, okay, all right. You know, taking a tire off the car and bolt strips. You know, they don't get upset. They get another socket and they hammer it on that, and they take the bolt off, and then they put the tire on and they go on their way. You know, or whatever it is. You know, you're like, I washed all my clothes, and I washed all of my I washed all my new jeans too. Put them away for the job, and I washed all my dishes yesterday. And man, about 4 times yesterday, I about destroyed 4 dishes. I was like, I know, I get it. I'm doing something that's making my life better, see? And life just can't stand that shit, man. Life really does want to keep you down. But don't get mad at life. That's just what life is. You just got to realize you got to fight. And I always say, like I said, everything has to fight. I was doing some work for the job on Thursday and Friday, and that's what I said. I said, oh yeah, here we go. Everything has to fight. Everything has to fight. So on Thursday, I was replacing 10 seats and 10 sets of arms, which is 20 arms on 10 chairs. The manufacturer sent in this seat base that had 16 insets in the bottom of it that are pounded in, and they're threaded. They're steel insets that you put bolts in. Well, unfortunately, the manufacturer hadn't threaded them too well. And they hadn't put them in the wood too well because they were at an angle and all kinds of shit. So what I had to do was, I did get lucky. They sent 4 bolts that were in holes that were not used that I had to transfer. They put these bolts in because the plastic piece that goes on top of it, they wanted to have some support under the plastic piece for the bolts that went next to it. Anyway, the thread on those bolts was good enough to thread every 12 of the inserts. I had to rethread. I had to put Vaseline on them. I had to go I had to do that 10 times, and I got the job done. I was in shock. I was so happy. I got that job done, man. And the arms were a son of a bitch too. I don't understand why some manufacturers thread their holes great and you don't have to fight them, and other manufacturers, man, you just want to smash someone right in the face. I mean, really, you look at it and you go, really? Really? You gonna send this out in the field for me to use? But we cut through it. We got that done. And after that job on Thursday, that job went long. And I had another job I had to go to. It was just one little top, right? One little top. It's on these tables that you go into a hospital. It's got a little lever on it. It raises up. And it goes. It's like shaped like a hook with wheels on it. It goes under the bed, but it hangs over the bed like this. And that top's about that long. What you doing, boo-boo? Huh? Little boo-boo's over here on my waters. Yes, you feel better now, boo-boo? Yes, she does. We love our boo-boo. You want to get up here in front of people, you'll get up on the table, baby. So anyway, there's some kid in the, they got a little trampoline for a kid out here. All right, that's cool. Anyway, after that, those 10 seats I had to put on, I had to go to another job and I had to put this top on. And it seems pretty simple, right? You would think it'd be pretty simple. No, it wasn't simple at all. I did take everything I needed plus a blanket because I want to put a blanket out because I want to flip. If I have to, a lot of times with tables you got to flip them over on their top. It's a lot easier to flip them over on their top and transfer the base over, right? Well, this base had all kinds of things on it. It had plastic cover on the mechanism, so you had to take the 8 screws out of that. It had the 2 handles on. It had a handle on both sides, lever handle on both sides. It had 4 screws out of that. It had weights on each side of the base. They had 3 screws in that, and that was 3-piece weights that had to come off. Then it had, I want to say, 10 screws holding the mechanism, the lifting mechanism of the table on. So I had to take all this apart, swapped it over, and be careful because you can't drive these screws through the wood. Because if you're not careful, 1, you'll strip them and it'll be useless. But 2, if you drive them too deep, you run them right through the top. So I had to be careful, got that all done, got that all fixed. That was Thursday. And Friday, I went in, and my boss is sick. God bless him. I hope he's feeling better. His lungs are really messed up. He needs to stop smoking. Please stop smoking, boss. Please stop smoking. If you don't stop smoking, you're going to die. If you stop smoking now, your lungs will heal some. You're not going to get 50 years of smoking out of your lungs, but you might get 25 years of smoking out of your lungs if you stop smoking right now. Please stop smoking. Anyway, so my boss wasn't well, but he called me. I couldn't find a part I had to take down to this next job on Friday, which was this mechanical box. It's a control box for this table, and I'd never for this. It's adjustable height desk for an executive, real expensive thing, I took it down there, I put it in, and I got that thing to work. It was kind of interesting, but we did get it to work, and I was so happy for the customer. And then I came back. I got back from that was in Virginia Beach from Richmond, and I got back to Richmond around 11:30, I want to say. And I had these 3 chairs that I got from a hospital unit up in Charlottesville that I had to fix from a manufacturer that I will not name because I hate this manufacturer with every fiber of my being. I really do. I mean, they make stuff that looks simple, but there's nothing simple about it at all. It's not easy to fix. It's complicated. Everything is hidden. It's not easy to fix. But by a miracle of God, I was able to get the 2 chairs. I only had to fix 2 of the chairs. The 3rd chair was a throwaway chair that thank you God, I was able to get parts off of to fix one of the chairs. But it was a miracle of God that happened Friday afternoon. I mean, really, I was working on these chairs going, who in the hell makes a chair like this? Who in the hell makes a chair like this? They're talking about, it's got an arm stock like this, and it's got this arm pad here. And the way it comes off is you pull this steel spring out here, right? You know, you take a screwdriver, you pull the steel spring out. It don't come out. It don't come out. The one I tried to pull out, it actually pulled the bottom out and broke the spring inside the handle. I was like going, oh my God. But luckily enough, we had parts from the third chair that we could fix this customer's chairs with. But like I said, the whole way that day worked, the way those 2 days worked, I could feel the presence of the Lord in those days. I really could. And I don't care who doesn't believe that. I don't ask for anybody's validation on this. I don't tell you this because I want to impress you. It's special to me. My belief in God is special to me. And I don't tell people what I go through to impress you. I'm telling you this because when you're going through something and you're going through difficulty, always reach out to God. If you have a Bible in your house, you're already halfway there. In my deepest, darkest days, man, I spent a lot of time I put the Bible down, I'd flip a page open, and I'd start reading. And it just occupied my mind. It didn't make my depression go away. What made that go away was a lot of the nutrition things I found about eating high-fat meals like bacon, sausage, eggs, butter, cheese in the morning makes the depression less bad. If you don't drink, when I drank lots of beer at night and I get up, I'd have this horrendous depression from about 7 o'clock to about 11 o'clock. I couldn't get over how I could time it. At the time, I was drinking 12, 13 beers a night, which if you're a beer drinker, drinking beer is like drinking this water. Because the beer I'm drinking it's not IPAs, or was drinking. It's not IPAs. But I could time that depression from 7 to 11. And after 11, it would go away. And I noticed it would go away faster if I had that bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich in the morning, or if I had that sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich in the morning, especially if I had 2 eggs, bacon, toast, and grits, or 2 eggs, bacon, toast, and hash browns. There's something in that mix that gets into the blood, gets into the brain, that helps dull depression. And I have to believe it's got to have something to do with the natural fats. So I always had a problem with low-fat everything because they kept pounding and pounding and pounding about everything has to be low-fat, low-fat, low-fat. And I'm like going, every time they do this, every time they make a substitute food like this, they have to treat the food, they have to beat it to death. They have to actually change it from being food to being something else, you know? And then they have to add shit back into it. And I never trusted that. And plus, I look at our old folks who grew their gardens, who slaughtered their own chickens, who slaughtered their own cows, you know, or got them from the butcher shop down the road. And they lived to 90 years old. Now, thing to realize about, that I realize about my elders, as I grew up, and I saw them in the 60s, they were not overtly happy people. They didn't walk around smiling like they were high on something, but they were content. And they were content that same thing I'm telling you about. Life is a struggle, and you got to be ready for it. And they were ready for it every day. and they were never seduced by the social media lie that life is easy and wonderful and joyful, and it can be, every day can be a pleasure and blah blah blah. They were never like that. They were hardcore survivors. And I'm telling you, when I talk about my elders, I'm not talking about my white elders. I'm talking about my white elders, my black elders, my oriental elders, every kind of nationality, race, creed, and color elder you can imagine. I've seen them. And I've seen the way they conduct themselves. And I remembered that. That was when I was a kid. Because, man, I was going through some times when I was a kid. And it was all nutrition related. It was all because some bad things happened to my body in childbirthing, and we those of us in the 60s who grew up in the 60s and 70s, we grew up at the start of this artificial food crap stuff, and we were in a time when smoking was not looked at as bad. It was actually looked at as healthy. And we grew up at a time when sodas, Pepsis and Colas and Cokes were looked at as healthy. And then they put aspartame in it. We were told that was healthy, which was a bald-faced lie. I had an uncle who died from his Pepsi addiction. And my Uncle George. And he went blind before he died. He had diabetes. But man, Uncle George used to take and pound them damn Pepsis. He used to get, there was this, it's a glass bottle of Pepsi. It's a twirl glass bottle. It's really a piece of artwork. And it has the metal cap on top of it. But they were returnable. They were recyclable. And the Pepsi guy used to leave him that back in that day, back in the late 60s, early 70s, they used to bring Pepsis in a wood crate with those recyclable bottles. And I remember my uncle having, I want to say, 7 cases of Pepsis in his garage when my dad and I went down there. And he would drink 7 or 8 or 9 Pepsis a day, like people would chain smoke. And that pretty much killed him. But the bottom line was about what I was trying to make was that our old folks are heroes. They're my heroes. And if you see one out there that's struggling through a door, hold the door for them. You know, if you see someone who's coming across a parking lot and they're carrying some heavy bags, help them carry some heavy bags for them, or at least offer. You know, if you, I actually about 6 months ago, there was an old guy was loading his groceries in the back of his SUV, and man, he was old, and these bags was taking all his energy to put in the back of the car. And he, as I was walking up to him, I saw this. He got to his last bag and he put it in the car. And I said to him something like, I said good morning to him or something like that. And I think I took the cart from him. And he was so shocked that someone was nice to him. And he really appreciated that. I think he said something like, "You have a nice day too." But the change in the look of his face, just because I said something nice to him, and he had not expected that, you know. So you can make a change in someone's life just by saying good morning, or just by saying hi. And I do that every day. I shock people every day. They walk past me all grumpy. I say, "Hey, how you doing today?" He said, "I'm doing okay." And that's the first shock. Hey, this old white guy said something to me, and it wasn't nasty. And then I say, "Well, have a good day." And invariably I get a "have a good day" back, sir. Yeah. But that's the footprints of changing the world for a better place right there, you know. It's like 30 seconds a piece that you throw out there, you know. So anyway. I don't know, this has been a long video. It's probably going to be 3 parts, but that's okay. I don't care. I feel pretty good. I got to get in here and do my... I got to do my... my iodine. I got some ashwagandha, liquid ashwagandha. I got... and that ashwagandha is really an interesting... That's an interesting substance. I would not want to take ashwagandha by itself. It's pretty powerful. And you got to be careful about these kind of things that if you do feel an effect, if you are very depressed and suddenly you feel an edge off of your depression because you're taking this stuff, you don't, in my case, I don't want to take more, because the scary part is you get to a point where you induce instability in your brain. You don't want to introduce instability in your brain. You just don't want to do that. That's where a high-fat meal, you know, that's where you see all these kids that are going Looney Tunes out here. They're not eating a high-fat meal, a high natural fat. When I say, I'm talking about a high natural fat meal. I'm not talking about something that's beat to death like McDonald's or something like that. I'm talking about eating a genuine high-fat meal, you know. And God forbid, nobody should be drinking Pepsi or Cokes. I'm just saying. I just don't think it. But that's up to you. You make your calls you're going to make. But, anyway, we rambled and re-ranted. And I want to say one thing. This is not... I'm not a health professional, and you should not take any advice from someone on the internet. You should get all your information from many sources and see which ones you trust, and correlate that information with what you know and what your body's telling you, and make your own decisions, you know. Anyway, that was pretty damn good, I gotta say. Pretty happy. I might be in a situation where I got to stop drinking coffee. I noticed that depending on the coffee, if I drink too much coffee, for some reason, I will dribble pee all day long. You know, it's where you pee, you go to the bathroom, you pee, but then you get this little drip all day long. There's something about coffee, certain types of coffees, that really irritates my bladder. And if that's the case, then I just as soon not drink it. Now, I can drink tea all day long, and everything works fine. But drinking coffee has a tendency to irritate it. Now, why am I drinking coffee? Well, I've drank coffee for 55 years. So I'll miss that too. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. You know, God's right with you. God's with me right now. Thank you, Lord. Woo! I'll tell you what, Thursday and Friday, He was really with me. And if you need His help, you just gotta ask for it, and He'll help you. You know, I say it all the time. Just put your hand on your shoulder and go, Lord, I could really use your help. I'm going through some stuff. I need some guidance. I need some help. I need some breaks. Please show me which way to go. I'm inviting you into my life, please. And He'll come in and He'll help. He might not come the way you think, but He definitely wants you to do well every day. And well is relative. Just surviving every day is doing well, okay? You should be proud of that. Being able to get around every day, you should be proud of that.
we take way too much for granted. And just realize that you're a beautiful invention of the Lord Himself. You didn't get here by accident. The Lord didn't send you here to suffer every day. He sent you here to be an inspiration. And just being alive and surviving every day and doing the things you do to spread a little bit of joy wherever you go. Man, that's awesome stuff, and you did it, okay? All right, folks, well, I think I'm done running my mouth. Have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you on the next video. I have got to do this exercise. I've got to. Anyway, have a good one, folks. Peace.